So I just got done reading Hellwitch's latest chapter, Bitchcraft, and it's an awesome story filled with an unlikely duo who have to combat the horrors of hell. But that's not exactly the focus of today's video, because today I want to talk about one of my personal favorite characters who actually shows up in this chapter. Yes, today we are talking about Seance, and I have some questions. So let's get into it. What's going on, everyone? This is Ace, and welcome back to The Reckoning, where we talk all things Lady Death, Coffin comics, Chaos comics, and other dark fantasy or metal-inspired stories. And if you like what we do here, then don't forget to give this video a like and to hit the subscribe button, click the bell as well, so that you don't miss out on more content to come. Your support really helps out the channel, and as always, I always appreciate it. Thanks so much, and now, let's begin. So I should say that I will be diving into the most recent story of Hellwitch, so if you guys want to avoid spoilerish talk, then I'm just warning you ahead of time now, okay? I'll give you a little minute here to click away or just to get a heads up, but we good? Alright, so anyways, Seance is here, and I personally think we should be paying really close attention. Again, I could be wrong about this, but I am just throwing my thoughts out there of what role he is currently playing in the Lady Death universe. I would argue that he is somewhat foundational to everything that seems to be occurring. Now, for those of you who are new or maybe not familiar with Seance, I do mention him in my most recent video, The Many Villains of Lady Death, which you can check out here or down below. And I also let you all know that he is responsible for the Satanus or Lucifer Engine in my other video titled, well, the Lucifer Engine, which again you can watch here or again down below. But anyways, let's go beyond the Lucifer Engine and let's dive deeper into the being known as Seance. So essentially, he is a demonic, hellish, extremely powerful being. He has many titles such as Lucifer's Archdruid, or he has been referred to by the inhabitants of Hell as Hell's Mage, Hell's Sorcerer Mystic, and Father, by none other than Hellwitch. But why am I bringing him up now? And well, I think primarily this is because there is just a lot of uncertainty surrounding him, and his character will not go away. He is constantly there in the shadows, only choosing to reveal himself when necessary. Now, if you're a long-time Chaos and Coffin reader, then you know this is very much in line with his character. He is not an ill-tempered, power-greedy Matthias, and he is not a tricky, backstabbing jester like Pagan. Seance is cocky, filled with bravado. He is an observer and calm, calculative, but above anything else, he is cruel. Imagine Cell from Dragon Ball Z mixed with a little bit of Saruman, and you kind of get the idea, alright? He is also a seeker of knowledge, as when faced with circumstance, he always wants to see what will happen next. As mentioned, he is like someone watching a game of chess, seeing the pieces play against each other, one at a time, but his eye is especially intrigued when the opportunity for chaos presents itself. There could be many reasons for this, as he in the past, by studying the book of Apocrypha, harnessed chaos energies to help create the Lucifer Engine, as I mentioned earlier, but he has also mentioned that violent times are good for chaos magic. So in a way, it would seem that chaos itself can potentially be utilized by Seance to make himself that much stronger. It is also probably why then that he selects individuals who he would call agents of chaos, using them to upset order and cause exactly that, chaos. Hence his adoption of Hellwitch and why she refers to him as her father, as for a time he took her in and would pass down a lot of his knowledge to her. We learn in Hellwitch's latest chapter Seance's affinity for chaos, as he states, "It is chaos that challenges us. Desperate times force us to abandon stifling morality and force us to do unimaginable things. Chaos pushes us to learn, to grow." Now, keep in mind that we are talking about a cruel sorcerer, and of all places, this is hell. So it should be no surprise that when some Hellborn decide to kill Hellwitch, Seance is indifferent to the whole ordeal, until he isn't. Let me explain. As Hellwitch is defeating the group of Hellborn that want to be rid of the old leading power of Hellborn, known as the Sect, and Hellwitch playing a role within that sect, led to this current conflict. She is about to be victorious until she is blasted by her old mentor, and he states, "You were truly a worthy student, Hellwitch, but you've become too dangerous to my plans." What are his plans? What is this whole thing leading up to? And is Lucifer or Satanus involved? Is Seance acting on his own? And what are the connecting pieces? So many questions, so let's wrap up the details of this chapter before we go forward, or I guess to previous events. So Seance is defeated, but not finished in this conflict between him and Hellwitch. He escapes, but it would seem that he is the only one with the knowledge to create a portal to travel between Hell and Earth, which Angel Vix, who is a Halo experimented on Lady Death clone, and who is seeking such a portal so that she can get out of Hell. Hellwitch has promised to help her on this mission, along with her love interest Nikita. The three of them will be journeying throughout Hell to find Seance. So that is where we are at now, but in 2024, as many of the Sworn already know, we are in what's called Hellageddon. And essentially this is the return of Lucifer, or Satanus, within the Lady Death universe. You see, he has been absent up to this point, but definitely he has been talked about many numerous times. I am very curious of Seance's reaction or involvement in Satanus' return, because mind you, we have been here before. Back in the Chaos days, Lucifer was defeated by Lady Death, and in his absence, Hell began to disappear, slowly being erased from existence. But this did little to faze Seance. True, he recognized how daunting and powerful this destruction of Hell was, but even in the face of inevitable destruction, he did not waver from Lucifer's will. He studied and researched the chaos energies, creating angels of chaos on Earth by manipulating massive amounts of arcane energy that spread all across North America, which was caused by Lady Death's forced resurgence to Earth by the efforts of her love at the time, Evil Ernie, creating many monsters that we may perhaps get into on another video. But he states, "The judgment era is upon us, Lord Lucifer, and even in your absence, your work will be done." So says Seance. Now I bring all of this up to show that Seance has proven to be loyal to the Prince of Lies, but not per se like all-in loyalty, such as like a character like Astaroth, who will go just, beyond cosmic worlds and just leave massive destruction all in the name of loyalty to Lucifer. No. But he still doesn't seem to have an issue with serving Satanus. But now within the current chapters of Lady Death, and with Lucifer once again being absent, Seance didn't have a problem taking over the city of Dis, Lucifer's old stomping ground, hovering above it in an almost Seattle Space Needle-like structure, even referring to it as his city when confronting Lady Death after her awakening. May I remind you all as well that it was Seance who put Lady Death to sleep for over 20 years. Not only that, but manipulated her dreams and nightmares to cause her even more pain. In this first confrontation after Lady Death's awakening, we also get confirmation that Seance's power is on a higher level than that of Lady Death, as she confirms his statement, but with the help of Hellrider and her fury, overcomes and seemingly defeats Seance, sending him to oblivion for good. This, however, was not really the case. Let me explain. So let's start with Lady Death's Earth Mother, Marion. Okay, we'll start there. You see, she was an ex-Viking and whose soul has been trapped in hell for many years. Lady Death would be on a constant journey to free her mother's soul until finally, after defeating the likes of Seance, Reich, Pagan, the Hellborn Elders, and with the help of her sworn teammates, who are a wide-ranging team of forces from all kinds of realms. But here, most notably, would be her own sister, Serenity, aka War Angel, as Marion is technically both Lady Death and War Angel's mother. Now, I know that's a lot to take in, and we will make a video about Lady Death's family dynamics in a another time, because that's a video. All right, yes, we will go through the twists and turns of Lady Death's how shall we say, family tree at some point in the future. But anyways, I don't want to get too distracted. But as I was saying, with the help of the Sworn, and of course essentially her sister, War Angel or Serenity, her mother's soul could finally be delivered to heaven. We see War Angel and Marion flying out of hell and into heaven's gate, and for a moment, peace seems to be at hand, until there is a massive explosion, and while we don't know what has become of Lady Death's mom and sister, and if they truly were annihilated, we do see in the distance a figure, smirking, and the figure turns out to be, yes, you guessed it, it's Seance. So what does this mean? Did he simply kill the members of Lady Death's family? I don't think so. Maybe War Angel died at his hands, but he knows how much Marion means to Lady Death, and that her mother could be used to torment her. This is why he purposely manipulated Lady Death's sleep and dreams to have Lady Death's mom be her enemy, which also might be how the boundless Lady Death stories play their role in the overall Lady Death mythos. Just interesting thought there for everyone that's been around for a while. So if Seance does have Marion, what is his plan? What does he intend to do? When will he reveal this? And is this at all connected to Lucifer's return? So you think that would be enough, right? But no. Seance is more ingrained into Lady Death's bloodline than you would think. It is as if he knows that family is the way to tear down Lady Death. Now, mind you, this part could be all speculation, but this is what we know during Lady Death's chapter, Nightmare Symphony. We learn that not only does Seance reveal himself to Lady Death, but also very minorly assists her in taking her revenge on Leviathan, who at this point was believed to have killed both of Lady Death's children. Now, just a side note, as I'm going to give my 2 cents here, but I almost wonder if Seance has a distaste or dislike for Leviathan. And I say this because he has not only pointed Lady Death in Leviathan's direction so that she could take her revenge, but back during the Judgment Era of Chaos, there was a war going on between the 3 factions, Lady Death's, Leviathan's, and Lucifer's, for control over the city of Las Vegas, which would ultimately become the new hell. While Lady Death and Leviathan were attacking one another, Seance offers a helping hand to Lady Death over Leviathan. It was also said that Lucifer had encaptured his first love, Leviathan, deep under the ground of hell and under a sleep lasting eons. Now, what does this sound like? Where have we seen this type of curse or spell or incantation before? Yeah, exactly. Very similar to that of Lady Death's. And I'm almost certain that it was Seance, upon the request of Lucifer, to do this deed and place the same or at least similar spell on Leviathan. But yeah, that's just something I noticed. But anyways, I bring all this up because, as many of you may be aware, that Lady Death succeeds in her revenge against Leviathan, but then shortly after is placed in her 20-some year sleep by, of course, Seance. And here's where I bring up my final point. For you see, we see that her children were not incinerated by Leviathan after all, but instead abducted or rescued, however you want to look at it, by Seance. Now, he calls her children the heirs of hell, and both babies seem to have markings and perhaps a dark aura around them. But that's it. That's all we know at that point. Fast forward to some 20 years in the future, and Lady Death's children are now young adults. They have certain powers and abilities and have been separated from each other, living on Earth. But how? Why? What happened? And what role did Seance have in creating this narrative for them? Or why would he give up Lady Death's children? It's just curious if this will play a role in the future, and when will Seance pull the trigger per se on this plan? It's just fascinating to me. One last side note is the demon servant for Seance that is holding Lady Death's children, those several decades ago, had a robotic eye. Now, technology has been seen in hell before, there is no denying that, but I almost wonder if this is related to Halo, the tech experimental organization led by Matthias, Lady Death's sorceress father, and if so, what agreement or connection would the 2 parties have to be working together? and what horrors will this mean for Lady Death? But yes, you guys, these are just some of my thoughts and speculations, but overall, there is no denying that we can expect to see more of Seance in these upcoming chapters. Maybe more directly involved within Hellwitch's storyline, and of course, I'm assuming within Lady Death's as well. He is one of my personal favorite villains of Lady Death, and I am excited and hyped to see more of his own character and story develop. But I want to know what your guys' take is. What do you think of Seance, and what are your predictions on what's to come? Did you read Hellwitch's new title, Bitchcraft? Let's talk about it down in the comments below. Oh, and speaking of that, thank you guys so much for reaching 500 subscribers. You know, I mean, that's just awesome. I mean, you know, that just really means a lot to me, and I'm just happy that we are here slowly growing the channel, and which means more people to share the love of Lady Death and everything Chaos and Coffin. You guys are awesome, and I can never express how much your support and kind words mean to me, and honestly, it really keeps me going and pushes me to make more content. And speaking of which, be on the lookout for more to come, as I have several videos in the works. I also am slowly working on being more active on TikTok and Instagram, but we're working out those details in the background, so that's a job in progress, if you will. But anyways, thank you again, and until next time, take care.